Let's talk strategy. If Christians in the world were in the business of going and converting everybody else, and they started targeting, like Muslims may be targeting the Western ideology. What if we targeted their ideology? What city would you go after? What's the number one city when you think about Muslims? What is the number one city in the world? Think about the number one city in the world for Muslims. Where is it? Tell me the city. What do you think? I'm asking. Is it Mecca? Is it, what would you say is the number one city? Would you say, pick it, is it Mecca? Is it Saudi? Is it Tehran? Is it, where do you go to? Whatever that city is, imagine if you go and you take that city over and the leader of that city is officially a Christian. What's the likelihood of this happening?
Oh,
What's the likelihood of a Christian capitalist taking over Mecca? What is it? You know what the likelihood is? Zero.
Right.
So check this out. Flip it. If the Islam religion comes to you and they hire you as a consultant, you are the consulting firm. You, that Inc., right? You're incorporated. We are hiring you. We want to impose our ideology on Western cities. What is the number one city for us to go to be able to share this ideology with? What do you think is the number one city on that list?
New York City.
New York City. Boom, we got victory. They just won. And they took over that city. Congratulations to you. Do you know, if you're a Muslim, how massive of a victory this is for them? It's massive. Here's the question. Do Americans, who the founding fathers built the greatest country in the world ever, that did in 249 years what a couple countries couldn't do in thousands of years, will they protect it? Or will they be walking on eggshells and saying, it's not a big deal, no one's going to be leaving New York City? Here's the reality. To all the people that are saying no one's leaving New York City, to all the people that saw that, what is it, Unusual Whales or whatever that account is that says 756,000 New Yorkers will definitely, keyword, are definitely moving out of New York City, if I'm done.
Hi, guys. Welcome to Kingdom Political, where we do all kinds of reactions. This is Patrick Bet David, okay, on the PBD podcast. He is a wealthy Armenian from Iran and Syrian from Iran that came to the United States legally and has made a fortune. So if anybody knows about Muslim ideology, it's him, okay? He and his family had to flee it and escape it in Iran. To what? To come here to the United States and have to see it forming again in New York City. All right, so here we have useful idiots, because that's what the jihadists, that's what the Muslims call people that they use to get into America, to get into the family structure, to get into life, to get into politics. That's what they call the queers for Palestine, or, you know, anybody else that's not knowledgeable of the ideology of Islam and the caliphate and what the Quran says about non-believers or infidels, what they would do to them. It's not like they are a population, especially the jihadists or the Islamists, that want to come in and assimilate into Western culture. That's not what they're trying to do, okay? It's put in their Quran that they are supposed to take over and rule, and their ideology is to be a part of the government. And anyone that doesn't believe that is to be taken out, to be unalived, or to be taxed, okay? And this is something that I've been warning about for the last, I don't know, couple of months, when I saw Zohran Mandami running for office as mayor in New York City, and just talking about the policies that he wanted to act. Number one, I knew that they were impossible. You can't have free buses because you have unions. You have the MTA, who controls the buses and the transit system. They have unions. They have to pay their employees. And there's no way that you could bring about something like that without dismantling the unions that have been in place since the onset of of New York City. It's not something that's just going to happen out of the blue. And then the whole rent subsidy thing, when you have all of these um, private landlords, these people that own these big buildings, okay, that have paid millions and billions of dollars for these properties. There's no way that you're going to get a rent from, let's say, 2,000 to, I don't know what he would consider um, a cheaper rent, to what, 500 or something like that, without breaking New York City, especially then with you, when you yourself at $146,000 salary are living in a rent subsidized apartment in Astoria, Queens. Okay, if you really wanted to make things more affordable, why not just give up your apartment first? So when he came with all of these ideas, I said, this must be some kind of Islamist agenda, okay? Because he really can't do all of these things that he's talking about. So I think it's a Muslim takeover. But let me know what you think in the comments. So let's continue with the video.
Presidents saying they definitely would move out of New York City if he wins. An additional 2.12 million New Yorkers said they would consider leaving should he take office. Here's the reality of it. Let's flip it. Forget about who's moving out of New York City. Here's my question for you. Who's moving to New York City? You ready? Let's talk about who it's a good climate for now. There's a video clip of him saying, why are we putting people in jail? He wants to release them. If you're a criminal, hello, I'm moving to New York City. Number two, if you're an illegal immigrant, are you kidding me? I'm moving to New York City. What if you're a Muslim? Oh my, I got Dearborn. I got a Muslim mayor in the biggest #1 city in America. I'm moving to New York City. So guess what, to all the people that said nobody will leave New York City? It's about who's coming to New York City. You're welcome. And they're going to come in a bunches. You know how I know this? I would ask, why did Armenians move to Glendale? Why do Assyrians go to Torlock? Why do Assyrians go to Chicago? Why do Persians go to Beverly Hills? Because the first Armenian influencer moved to Glendale, then their families moved, then everybody else moved, then the world moved to Glendale. Because the first Assyrian influencer moved to Torlock, everybody else moved. Moved to Detroit, everybody else moved. Because the first Persian, Middle Eastern moved to Beverly Hills, everybody else moved. What do you think is going to happen right now to New York City? You voted for this, folks. You voted for this, and you are welcome. And your population is about to increase. Everybody else saying it's going to decrease, I think it's going to go up. My opinion. I hope I'm wrong. I'm a minority owner of the Yankees. Trust me, I hope I'm wrong. But for the people that are like, how dare you say such a thing like this? And shame on you. You should not be an owner of this. No. If I lived in New York City, I would be more vocal than sitting on the sidelines saying this will never happen and not going out there rallying other people to vote.
And this is why I was. Not that I live in New York anymore, thank God, but I lived in New York most of my life. And I saw what was coming. As a matter of fact, we had a prophet in our church in the 90s that talked about a Muslim takeover in a caliphate. Okay. And here we are. Here we are in Dearborn, Michigan. They have a Muslim community that actually broadcasts the morning prayer over their loudspeakers in the mosque throughout the city. Imagine going to Saudi Arabia and trying to play church music, gospel music at a church. Imagine trying to set up a church in Saudi Arabia. Could that happen? Absolutely not. So why is it that we in America allow these people to come over and take over? Because it's not about assimilation. I'm not sure if any of you heard about the young man that lived in a community where the mayor is Muslim, and he was upset because one of the streets were named after a terrorist. And he said, I'm uncomfortable with this. I don't think this is right. Do you know what this mayor said to him? He said, well, you can leave. You can go somewhere else. So you, immigrant, are going to tell me, an American citizen that lives in Deer Park, Michigan, that was born here on this land, that I can leave? But this is what you voted for, New York. And I'm still praying for you. And I ask for God's mercy and his grace, especially on those that didn't pray for this. But there's a reckoning that's going to come. And you know what I just found out about the food stamps and government programs and stuff? Listen to this. I saw this on a chart that 45% of the people that are on food stamps are Afghani. That's almost half the population. 40%, 42% are Somalians, and 34% are Iraqis. What do they all have in common? They all come from Muslim countries. So if you're not careful, you're going to have the whole United States look like the UK, look like Germany, look like Italy. Do you know what's happening over there? They have a Muslim takeover, and they have Sharia law, and they're actually fighting right now to try to get their countries back. They have rapes, gang rapes in the street of their young girls, of their teenagers. And they're usually white women. And what is that all about? Okay, so I really want you to take heed of what's going on. Unfortunately, New York is probably going to be the case study for socialism in the country. All right, but let's hear the rest of this. And make sure you like, subscribe, and share.
You got what? I was vocal in 2024 because I knew I didn't want Kamala. I was vocal in 2020. I risked it, even though I hadn't so much. I was vocal in 2016. We risked it. You know what it was like to talk pro-Trump in 2016? Everybody was walking on eggshells doing that. Everybody was walking on eggshells in 2020, and then nobody else was walking on eggshells in 2024. So my concern, him and I were talking earlier saying, don't you think this is what America needs? Don't you think we almost need this case study to be able to show that what works and what doesn't work? And I said, look, I get it. I went on Jubilee and I said, I hope Mamdani wins for us to come back and do this 4 years later so you can see exactly what the stats are. But here's what I will tell you. Do you think if you want your kids to know how bad drugs are, would you say, why don't you try a little bit of fentanyl, see how bad it is? Would you do that? Would you say, why don't you try a little bit of cocaine? You know what the only place is? I had a friend of mine who was so addicted to drugs, it got to a point that he was trying everything. Guess what we could do at that time? Nothing. I took him to rehab. I took him to all these other things that we would. I took him to Bible study in Pasadena. Every Friday night, I would pick him up, take him. So he's in the car with me, and I would see him go in his car and his black car, and he would take the pills, and he would take him. I would take the pill out of his hand. He's fighting me and another guy at the back of Shakers in Glendale, saying, give it back to him. I'm not giving back to you. Done. A couple months later, he dies. Young age, 27 years old. He passes away. Till today, I think about it. This guy was a phenomenal. He's a fun guy to be around. I liked him a lot. There are certain things in America you shouldn't flirt with. This is one of them. Don't ever second guess why America became the greatest country in the world. I'm an immigrant. I wasn't born here. I was born in Iran. And then I went to Germany, then I came here. There's no place like America. Nothing. I'm grateful to be here, and I'm going to do my part. I don't need to do this. I don't need another sponsor to pay my bills. I live a very good life. The only reason we're doing this and being this vocal is because I know they're not going to slow down. I know they're not. And I know America's worth it. I know the right policies are worth it. I know what we have right now as the greatest country in the world, we have to do our part. But if you think this is it, this isn't it.
But let me know what you think about this. Okay, do you think it's right that New York voted this guy in over Cuomo or Curtis Lewa? What do you think is in store for New York? I don't think it looks good at all. But I do know that God is merciful, especially to his remnant. But I want to hear what you think about it. All right? Make sure you let me know in the comments below. Make sure you like and subscribe. And I'm going to put the original video in the content. Okay? I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.